The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Project Nerd as a whole.
I could let them know about the sorrow and the happiness that the future has in store for them. Maybe they could learn from it.
Let's dive deep.
Let's dive right in.
We're gonna dive deep into this.
Let's deep dive into this.
This is Diving Deep.
This is Diving Deep.
This is Diving Deep.
Hey, bro nerds, it's Iggy, and I am here with Diving Deep, a podcast we haven't done in a while, but we're getting it back out in front of you, because we got some big things to talk about. Fun things, important things, social things, all kinds of cool things. And I felt this was the right time to get us recording again, because I am sitting in the Makers Lab at the Matchbox in West Lafayette, Indiana, where I am across the table from what I would consider a expert in the topic at hand, prop making, Mr. James Wulfgar of Wulfgar Weapons. How you doing, James?
I'm doing great, man.
Awesome. So we are going to talk props. So I think, and you know this for sure, over the years, something that has become synonymous with Project Nerd would be cosplay and prop making, I say. We share a ton of stuff. We're a big part of the community. We love hanging out with you guys. So it's something that a number of people that come to Project Nerd look for. We've had tutorials in the past. We get questions still and all that. So great topic, I think, to get us back into diving deep is to really dive deep into all the stuff you do about it. Because they can see the pictures. We can have fun on our other podcasts talking about all the cool times and the events. But there's a lot that goes into this as we sit here with three 3D or a couple 3D printers working over to our side and your workshop going hard as well. So let's talk props.
Yeah, let's talk props. So just a quick introduction. I'm James Wulfgar. I run Wulfgar Weapons and Props in Cause Awesome Studios. Yeah, I've been prop making for all my life and doing like Halloween stuff, but really I've been doing it professionally for about 5 years, maybe 6 years now. And then before that, I just made a lot of stuff for myself. My friends would see the stuff that I made, and then they wanted me to build stuff for them, and then people started offering to pay me, and then it's kind of gone on from there. Been blown up recently as far as lots of different people working with me, contractors. I work with people all over, and we sell to everybody. We sell to Hollywood and celebrities, and then we also sell to just anybody that comes to our booths at Comic-Cons. Right. Yeah, anybody can order off our website. We did Etsy for a while, but now we're just on our website, and we sell on eBay as well. So just all over the world, we've shipped everywhere, all day, every day. We're building. I got a couple really great guys building with me, and I do that too.
What's so before we get into the actual prop making, a couple questions on that. What's the craziest country you guys sent a prop to? Like you would just like,
it's just all over. Like is
there one that just popped up and you're like, what is going? Like
Egypt was one. I was like, sweet. They're sending this thing to
wonder if there's a photo shoot of your stuff like in front of the pyramids.
Maybe. Yeah, Egypt was one that popped up for sure. Yeah, we've all over, and we always have to like kind of check local laws on what's going on where. In some places we can't ship certain things, but other things are fine. And
on the side of your shop, there was that one sign that says all prop weapons, like whatever. Like you guys are making sure you're.
Oh yeah, so we have
keeping it safe.
On the gate to our shop. We have everything is a replica firearm here, and we're replica firearm collectors or whatever. Nothing's real, that sort of thing. That's for if cops or anybody else ever pop up. And hopefully nobody gets shot on our. Right. We've also talked to a local police office and that sort of thing, telling them, hey, this is a thing that we do. So they're aware of it, but it's just we want to keep everybody safe.
Safety and laws kind of go into the shipping as well and everything like that. So
definitely.
What do you think of it? Cool. If I remember correctly, at least a big part of it, this may not be all of it, but a big part of how this got started was the epic Wulfgar Halloween parties or costume parties.
Yeah.
I guess they weren't even under Halloween. It was just a random costume party each year, right?
Yeah, I started a costume party in college that was called just the superhero party.
Right.
And yeah, it was another excuse to party, another Halloween. We always did it in September, so all the Halloween stores were open. And yeah, it just went up there. We just had the 11th one this year, maybe the 12th one, I can't remember. But it's been going for over a decade, every year. And yeah, met a lot of people through that, and that's kind of building my love for costumes and all things cosplay. And before I started Wulfgar Weapons and Props,
right,
we had Cause Awesome Studios, and it's still a big thing. But the mission statement of Cause Awesome is to spread the awesomeness that is costume art, right? And so people just appreciate cosplay. And some people want to call it cosplay, some people want to call it costuming, whatever. Appreciate that whole art.
Like you said, you've surrounded yourself with a lot of talented people, and it feels like everybody's story is a little bit different of how they really got invested into it and excited about it. Breaking it down a little bit, prop making, which SKS will be proud if we really separate the differences between cosplay and prop making. But obviously cosplaying, I think it's more broad and more of the actual out there doing it, like when you guys are out on the con floor having a good time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the prop making, I mean, we toured your workshops. We're sitting at another shop here. This is like, I mean, like legit, like tools and printers, and you guys got a photo lab. You've got, what is it, the big paint stations?
It's a big thing, yeah. So, and we've grown it too. I mean, over 6 years, I started off literally in like a back room of my basement making my very first Constantine prop, but that was not, I wasn't charging anybody for that, right? That was my personal one for the second superhero party. So that was literally 12 years ago, or 13, or not, 11 years ago. I don't know how to do math right now. But yeah, now we're sitting here, and I have 2 laser cutters next to me, and I think we have like 12 3D printers just in this lab. And this isn't just my lab. This is the makerspace that I run. I happen to also run a makerspace in town, Matchbox Makerspace. What's awesome about that is the reason I got this job, running this one, is cosplay, right? I mean, I reached out to this local co-working studio here and joined because they had a laser cutter in this little lab here. And I told them the first day, I walked in first day, I said, hey, if you ever need a lab manager, if that's everything, like, let me know.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting this job about a year ago, and I'm loving it. Not that I can't also do Wulfgar Weapons, which I do, and a lot of other guys work, over 40 hours for me, but I'm doing that all the time too. There's a lot that goes into it. We have a lot of fun, all kinds of different tools, equipment. Like you said, my other shop has a bunch of stuff too, but it's pretty intense now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff.
And it sounds like this space too gives you a chance to do more of the education and collaborating and everything too, which is, I know, a big part for you.
Yeah, so I run workshops from Wulfgar Weapons and Cosmos Studios out of this space too, because it's very open to the public access. It's clean and all those things. And I run it out of this workshop that we're in here, which is Matchbox. And then I also run Matchbox Studio Maker Lab. How to 3D print, how to use laser cutters, stuff like that. And we have a lot of people who have joined Matchbox to build props and to make costume stuff.
Yeah.
And not just that, we do prototypes and everything else, but costuming is a big thing. A lot of maker fairs, a lot of maker things go around wearables, if not costumes as well.
Right. So I think one thing, and I think probably something you wanted to get into, I think, are some of the challenges of it. We've spent a lot of time talking about it this weekend. SKS Props and I spent some time talking about it. All these things, that the iceberg thing that I know you love, and it's the everybody sees that 10% or so the success, the costumes fully built, you guys walking around, and some of those mega group builds that are amazing. But I think part of the diving deep was really like we said, these tools aren't cheap. You guys got team members, and now that it's become a business, you're wrangling people, you got shipping requirements, you've got all kinds of things going on beyond just, hey, I built my costume and showed up to the con.
Definitely. So, there's all kinds of challenges in it. A lot of those I actually like, right, and learn from and go forward. So I fail all the time, constantly.
Right.
But I'm trying to fail to learn, right, and get that experience. So something that, like, early on as a prop shop, we consider ourselves a prop shop. So we're not just prop builders. We do definitely build props all over in all kinds of different ways. We're not just foam smiths. We're not just whatever. We use foam and 3D printing and kit bashing and everything. Just get people the props they need. If we aren't going to be able to build it ourselves, a lot of times I just send somebody to whoever will be able to build it.
Yeah.
But we have seamstresses and everything else that work for us and work as contractors for us, so we can make it happen, which I'm very proud of. But early on, there wasn't that, and we would have to build everything that was ordered. So now we have, like you said, our inventory system and our shipping system. We have a large inventory of things on hand that are on our website that we can ship out same day or next day, or at least that week.
Right.
We do 2 shipping days. So when we do those, it's pretty awesome, because I can literally just say, oh, hey, we had an order come in for this. Okay, it's Tuesday, it's shipping day. I'm going to pack that up right now and get that out. And people very much appreciate it. That was a big struggle early on, and I think that's what a lot of my other friends that are prop makers, they don't have that inventory built up.
Yeah.
That was a struggle, and now it kind of is a struggle still for the shipping, for the just the logistics of it all, and even managing the inventory system. But we go to conventions, so we have a lot of inventory we want to bring there, and we want people to be able to pick our stuff up and really feel it and get that sense of how it is. If it's a sword, I want you to be able to swing it and feel like is it going to break or not? Because we want it to be durable, right? So a lot of times if you're just looking at something online, you can't really tell what it's like. So I love the fact I get to go bring these things to people. I also tell people another challenge, but also something that's cool, is I get to look people in the eye. They have bought things from me, and they either get to say, I love your stuff, and it's awesome, and this is great, and I love hearing that feedback. But then also, if somebody's unhappy, they can bring it to me, right? And I have to look at them. And like, if you buy something off Amazon, you don't ever meet the maker of that thing, right? And if you don't like it, you can tell me. A lot of times I've replaced things for people, I've fixed things for people that they bought years ago at my booth. And that's a little weird to say, but I mean, it's customer service. So it's also something else we're trying to do a lot of. And that's a big thing. And
Well, these people
don't think about
always costuming, so they're going to need more props.
Oh yeah, and people don't understand the customer service aspect of everything. When you think about building props and being a prop maker, I love making props, but a lot of what I end up doing now is doing that customer service and making sure somebody got their thing on time or whatever, or where's this package, that sort of thing.
No, I think it's huge. And going back to your inventory room, it was when we walked in there, it felt like we were getting ready for like a zombie invasion or something. We were going to go in there and load up with all the weapons and ammunition you had hanging out there.
It's fun to have
that room,
like a 4-walled room,
right,
full of props and stuff like that.
Tons of guns in there. Let's talk a little bit about it. So what do you the difference? Walk me through what the difference is between, hey, I'm gonna go buy this cool Nerf gun off Amazon and just give it a quick spray paint coat on my own, compared to what they're getting if they buy a Wulfgar weapon.
It's the same way that you pay a plumber to come do plumbing at your house. We have a lot of tools and abilities and know-how and wisdom and knowledge of it, I guess, right? We've been through there. So you can, and there's nothing wrong with making your own props. Like, totally, I will show you how. I'll teach you how to make your own props. I will, if you have a question on like what spray paint we use, I'm not trying to hold that back by any means. For sure. Or how we do things. And a lot of times we'll do something, we can do a simple way for a certain price, and then we can do, like, I always give people the cosplay version, the like replica version quotes, because that's another thing too. Some people are looking for a movie replica. They don't want to take it out on cosplay, like, and be in costume. They just want it on their wall. They want it to look exact. Some people care whether, like, if it's a pistol or something, whether it cocks back or it can be static. Some people don't want it to be static. Right. I mean, some people don't want it to work, right? Because they want it to be a costume prop. So it's a lot of it's going back and forth on that. But getting into what was the original question?
Well, I think you kind of answered. So kind of it was the explanation of your props compared to just buying something and doing a quick job on it. And I think one good point you threw in there was it's like calling the plumber or the heating and AC, right? The HVAC guy, things like that. Yeah, sure, you can look it up on Google, and you may be very capable of it, but there are some things that you may not have the tools for and things like that. And as you said that, I thought about those 3D printers over there, because those things ain't cheap. Yeah,
and there's a lot more to 3D printing something than just pressing the button or downloading the file. You have to resize things. You have to finish them. You have to make sure they go well together. Most things don't 3D print all in one piece off of a 3D printer. Right. And even when they do, you have to sand them. But there's a lot of like filling gaps and everything else. And with the laser cutter, we're able to actually laser cut symbols onto foam and onto like ABS and things like that.
Well, you guys cut it out those
don't have.
Project Nerd logo as actual glasses for us.
Yeah, those were acrylic, right? White acrylic.
I don't have the tools for that.
You were able to glue those. Yeah, and in trying to cut a circle, just a quick circle, perfect circle in like foam or acrylic or anything like that, will take so long and it's so hard to do. But if you have a laser cutter, boom, do it. Right. And we don't charge, a decent hourly rate. But if a lot of people have said, well, they'll come to my classes, right? And they'll come to them and they'll learn how to do it, and that's great. And then at the end, they're like, hey, this is a lot more work than I expected. Right. How much do you actually charge for this? And I'll tell them, and they'll pull out their money right there and be like, all right, just you make it for me. And it's the same way. It's an expert. We have a place to paint, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, they'll pull up something like, I can make this myself. I'm like, cool. I'm glad that you can make it yourself. Go make it yourself. But there's a lot of people who can't, whether they don't have the room in their shop or the room in their house, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the know-how, or they don't have all this other stuff. And also, we have lots and lots of different, if you talk about like just adhesives, right? I can go on, and this is diving deep, so I can talk about adhesives for the next 2 hours. Just adhesives. Let's go, right? I don't know if you want to dive deep into just adhesives, but yeah. And I love answering questions on those. I love, like Bob Smith Industries is a super glue, a MaxiCure super glue. We branded it under Wulfgar Weapons and Props style. So you can buy some from us at our booths that has our logo on it. We call it Wolf Juice, right? We'll put the link in the description maybe.
The famous Wolf Juice.
Yeah. So, that stuff is such a godsend from when I used to build props, I used to be using hot glue and random other things, and I couldn't get things to stick together. And when I used some of the super glue that I bought from like the normal stores, it would run and get on my fingers, and it was awful. And I never thought it was like, glue wasn't worth it. Super glue wasn't worth it. Now I'm able to, no gloves, glue something together, no problem, and it takes 15, 20 seconds to dry. So those type of things, that and like some of the paints and just all the knowledge and know-how and like using snaps, like putting snaps on something, putting like rivets and random other things in leather, actually laser cutting leather and engraving in leather and engraving. I'm kind of going off here.
No,
but
it's good. It's good. There's so much more to it than just painting a gun, like you said.
There's so much. And then also just filling the holes on a Nerf gun and knowing how to fill the holes so they aren't going to come out like the screw holes.
Right.
And then, dremeling or sanding off the logos and things like that. That's a big thing. And most of the time, it's not just a Nerf gun. Taking logos off of, fill the holes, and repainted. I add little bits and widgets and 3D print things for them. And, we have an entire shop. You saw that back area there. Yeah. Like large shelves of just what people like to call greeblies, right? Or like just little bits, little parts and bits and whatever I can cut off of things. I go to Goodwill all the time to like just find random stuff. 3D printing has changed that game because now if I want a greebly, I can and I like one, and I can either model it and just make it real quick and then resize it and use it on different things. And say I make a gun now. It used to be if I found something from Goodwill and cut it off of the piece on the Goodwill and then put it on the gun, and like I make a lot of cable guns, right? So cable's gun, in case people don't know, it's like a big sci-fi gun, right? So it's a big sci-fi blaster. It looks crazy. My first cable gun, the one the only prop actually that I own that I will not sell is that one, and luckily that didn't get destroyed this weekend. But so the only one I won't sell is that one. But on that, I have just little bits that I've cut off of things. If I were to remake that, I would probably 3D print some of the things, and then if somebody else wanted one, I could remake it way easier.
Yeah, because now you got the file too.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things. 3D printing technology has come so far in such a short amount of time. I tell people this in the makerspace all the time. In the next 5 years, literally probably everybody will have, or most people will have a 3D printer in their house that's kind of like a microwave, right? Where they'll be able to just make widgets and things like that. And it'll be more foolproof. It'll be self-leveling, all these things. And then they have like resin printers that are going crazy now. And some of the maker people that I know, and the research I've done on that, the stuff they have on like the space shuttles and the stuff they have on the on submarines are light years ahead of us because they need them. They can just beam up a file. They can literally just send a file up to the space station, and then they can print it out there. So that technology, because they need it to be so good there, is just going to roll down like all technology does to us,
for sure.
Right?
No, definitely. Yeah. And I think a big thing you kind of hit in there too is that you guys are artists. You're artists is what you are.
Definitely.
And when we talk about it and have so many, I think both of us have so many friends in that community as well. If you get a commissioned piece at a convention, you're not just paying for the 30 minutes they worked on it there, right? You got to pay for the tools that the inks, the markers, the everything like that. And of course the better tools, the more expensive tools, are going to produce the better print as well.
Right.
The time making them good at that craft, because every craft takes practice.
Definitely.
And all those other pieces that go into it, whether it be schooling, time, their home studio, everything like that is all a factor into when you're paying for something. You should definitely be thinking, oh, I'm paying for all of this. It's not just the 30 minutes right there, right?
Definitely. And you're also paying for, and this goes for any prop builder or prop company like mine or shop, you're paying for them to have already like researched what's the best base shield or what's the best base vest for this, right? So I can tell you I've spent a lot of wasted money trying to order things that I thought might be cool, but I'll test it. And a lot of times it's on my own stuff. But like the vest I use for cable, like the base vest I use for cable, I've used that for multiple things because it's good, it's durable. I know how to attach things to it. It's got like this neat color thing. And I can really take that, and that's something else too. I really enjoy the fact that we cosplay, and a lot of people have actually told us this too. It's not just my opinion. We do a lot of cosplays, so we've been there. We know how to make it so it doesn't break. And if it does break, we know how to fix it, right? And we understand like where things are going to break or where things are going to happen. And like things need to be comfortable, right? So you'll see a lot of, and we run into this a decent amount with like 3D models, right? So I'll get somebody who's a 3D modeler, they'll make something, and then I'll have to edit the file because I need to make it so it can be put together. That's actually, I got to do another plug here. That's why I love Treywick Designs.
Okay.
We've been working with them for about 3-4 years now, and I don't know that he's ever cosplayed, but his models, he sells like kits.
Okay.
And his kits come with all the right screws, all the right everything, and they fit together. They're like easy puzzles. It's not somebody who just modeled something and said, okay, now you figure out how to like splice it up and cut it up and make it work.
It's done the legwork.
He's done all the legwork, and we finish every one of his things. So if you can find it on Treywick Designs, Wulfgar Weapons and Props, we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this business partner relationship with him. It's amazing. Every time he makes something new, we immediately order some, so we have some in stock, so we can, we painted them up in our style painting. There's so much that goes into it, from modeling it to doing everything. And we work with lots of different people who do 3D models and, patterns. There's tons and tons of things to learn, too. I mean, we're constantly learning, too. I think that's one of my favorite parts about prop making is the fact that somebody will come out with a new product. This weekend, don't try this. Well, try this if you want to try this. But the coolest thing I learned this weekend, I asked somebody how they made their prop, and it was a helmet, and it was super shiny, and it was made out of foam. And this is Buddy Van Loon. And he basically said, oh, hey, yeah, I used like Pledge floor shine on it. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
And I need to do this now because it looked awesome. And I mean, I usually use clear coat or glossy clear coat or something to make something shine. But this Pledge stuff was, however he did it.
I was going to say, like, did he pledge and then do a coat over it to lock it in? Or did he have a bottle of Pledge in his back pocket that he kept spraying? I don't know.
No. So I think he said it was self-leveling. I need to try this. Like, I'm very excited. Every time I go and get into things and talk to people about what they've done. But he painted it like normal, right? Like, he hit foam and then he covered it and they painted it and they hand painted it. And then at the end, on certain spots, he actually painted over. I think he said he painted it with a brush, but it's self-leveling, like a very fine brush. So it didn't even have brush strokes. This Pledge floor covering, I need to try it, and it was shiny as hell. I saw it while I was on a Mario Kart driving by him, and the thing that stood out to me was how shiny that damn helmet was.
Well, I need to use it for my hardwood floors too then, if it's keeping it that shiny.
Yeah, right.
So perfect. Yeah, I think that's what's great about you guys. And another thing that we talked about on our own time away from the microphones is the talk about keep on learning and keep on creating and getting excited about these things. And those are the people that not only energize us, because those are the type of people we are. We just want to keep making and learning and doing new things. And when I say we, I mean not only you and your crew, but us over here at Project Nerd. So I think that's a really cool experience that you said you guys have established. I mean, you got props in movies and music videos and all this stuff, and you're over here geeking out about a new technique you just learned this weekend and how you want to try it. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and that's another one of my favorite parts about the cosplay community. They're very supportive, and some people will complain a little bit, but in general, they're a very, very supportive community. And the prop maker community, most of them share all their techniques or a lot of their techniques. And the thing is, you can share your technique all day long, but being good at it is a totally different thing, right? Like Vulpin Props, one of the best in the business. They do amazing stuff. They'll post on there, hey, this is what we did.
Right.
Hey, look at this 4-part mold we're doing right now. Well, not many people were able to bust out a 4-part mold. I've never done a 4-part mold. I don't plan on doing anything like a 4-part mold anytime soon. I would try it, right? I'd love to try it, but I have to have something that I need to do it on and everything else. So it's great to be able to share. Like, I don't feel like we need to keep anything back or have some type of trade secret or anything.
Right.
And there's plenty of room to go around. I know I've seen videos from a lot of different prop makers. I think Bill Duran has one from Punish Props that is basically, hey, there's plenty of room. Like, just do this. This is, it's tough. It's tough. And also competition's good. The more people are talking about props, the more people are talking about cosplay, the more people are excited about these things. I mean, if you talk about a prop builder over somewhere else that's kicking butt and whatever, somebody's going to get excited. Oh, there are prop builders. There are people who will make this stuff for me. I can get somebody to make an entire full costume, and then they're bound to come to me, or if I'm talking about it, they're bound to come to somebody else. It's good. It's really a good thing for the
it pushes you to be better, too. I think you either see it and say, I want to make something that awesome, or they teach you a new technique, kind of like you're talking about this weekend. And so then you can add it to your already repertoire of techniques. So that's a great thing about the geek community, and the prop community obviously fitting within it is we're typically inclusive. And I think it comes in a big part because this is really the first time period that it's mainstream. So it's always been on the fringes, and we've had to be inclusive because it was just us. It was just the geeks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the best part about it is we even have, like, celebrity geeks, like Adam Savage. He's blowing the stuff up. He was just at C2E2. And he's always been that guy on, like,
Right.
Mythbusters and everybody else that's just been doing well. And he's been doing movies for a long time. But we're just now seeing that, like, really blow up. That and cosplay, right? Over the past 10 years, over the past 5 years, over the past 3, it's just been going nuts.
Yeah.
Right? And people, I'll talk to people in normal day, everyday life, and they're like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, I'm going to a convention. I'm going to be a space wolf. Rah. Like, let's go. Rah. And they're like, what? Like, what is the space? What are you doing?
Right.
But then they see it, and then a lot of times they'll think, oh, that's kind of neat. And I'm like, dude, you just got to try it, right? Like, try cosplaying, try doing it once. And it's I know it's about prop building, but cosplaying is just a lot of fun. And I think that also does make prop building that much more fun, too, when I can say, hey, I can make that. And I love walking around conventions and seeing things we made, right? Like C2E2, I'm just... oh, hey, I recognize that prop. We made that out of the shop. And
Right.
I don't know the person at all, but it's neat.
Oh, it's such a great experience.
Yeah,
to see
that's really cool.
No, I think, and I know it's hard right now with it being audio only, but I think sometime we'll have to come back up and do like a video thing in the shop so we can really dive deep into a specific technique.
Yeah, I would love that. I
but
know Quaid would like that. Quaid's always building.
Right.
Seth's always building. Seth Knight and John Quaid are killing it in the shop. They are literally making all kinds of different things. I'm building as much as I can, but like I said, I have to do a lot of the administrative stuff.
Yeah.
I definitely still have plenty of time to build, but
It's the adulting part.
They are like mainstream rocking it and building it, and that's the great thing. Having a good team. We have other people too. Adam Watney Props makes amazing all kinds of things that he makes. He does his big thing is a chainsaw from Ash vs. Evil Dead, and he does the chainsaw arm. He does all kinds of different things, all kinds of Star Wars stuff. Really, having that good quality team is important, and we've had plenty of other people, amazing people, come through and help. My wife's always doing new projects and new things, and she does a lot of things for herself, but we end up learning.
Yeah.
She ends up doing a lot of the learning and the trial and error, and then that carries over to other things.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it helps with you guys being also the ones who want to wear the stuff. You do a lot of techniques and can test it on your own stuff and get out there. And I think, like you said, it even adds to meeting the new people and everything like that. But it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I think prop making is such a big part of Project Nerd here, and we don't actually make it. I still have it. A wonderful Christmas present one year that I got in the mail, a Han Solo blaster from Wulfgar Weapons back in the early days. You remember that?
Yeah, that was back in the early days.
That was like 5+ years ago, yeah.
Yeah, now we do like things like signs and coasters and stuff too. We've expanded out.
Right.
So I gotta make you some. I guess we made you the Project Nerd glasses.
Glasses, yeah.
But I gotta make you some more swag. Maybe a sign for your booth or something.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Oh, that would be awesome. Well, we'll definitely have to talk about that. Let's plug some places for people to get get their hands on some of these cool props, or even at least see them. Where can people go online to do it, or even I think we'll be past the event coming up this weekend, but maybe any future events this year.
Biggest place, go to wulfgarweapons.com, and that's WULFGAR. That's the most common. It's not a O on the wolf, it's a U.
Right.
But wulfgarweapons.com, wulfgarprops.com works too. You can hit us up on Facebook. We're on Instagram a little bit. I'm really bad about checking messages on Instagram.
Social media is hard.
But yeah, it is hard. We're getting there. You can see some of our stuff on YouTube. We're hopefully going to bust out a little bit more. We definitely aren't the people who are doing the in-depth videos. We're more or less just making the props and sending them out, and making the props and shipping them out, and getting it that way. That's more of our focus right now anyway.
Right.
And then upcoming events, we have a lot of Wizard Worlds. We're at Wizard World Cleveland this next weekend. We're at Wizard World Chicago when that happens, Wizard World St. Louis. Then we're also going to be at Lexington Toy and Comic Expo coming up in March. We have Indiana Comic Con, which is always a blast. It's right in our backyard.
Right.
Because we're in Lafayette, Indiana. And then Indie Pop Con, which is, I think where I first met you.
It was. Indie
Always one
PopCon
of my
year
favorites.
one.
Yeah,
was
Indie
where we-
PopCon is, oh man, that's always a blast.
That's
So,
in June this
there's
year.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in June. And then we'll probably add a couple more, maybe some.
Right.
I'd like to get up to Michigan, maybe Detroit. I think there's a Detroit Comic Con.
There is the Motor City one.
Yeah,
It's
there's a couple actually.
Apparently, the Motor City one though is apparently like a really great for creators and stuff too.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Cincinnati Comic Con.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I had never been there. People told me, hey, go there as a vendor, go there and have a good time. And I think we paid to do that again. I want to say I want to go back there. I need to make sure we actually have a
Make
booth.
sure that we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, and of course, I know at many other conventions too, y'all having a good time. They can spot you out and ask you questions. And even if you don't have some of the videos, I know you guys know a lot of the people do. And of course, here at Project Nerd, we know a number of the people do, and we can always point you in the right direction to some of those things. And if you do catch yourself in the Lafayette area, keep an eye on the makerspace here to where, like you said, you're going to be doing some of those tutorials and classes and things.
Matchbox Co-working Studio.
Right.
And then within it, we have the Matchbox Maker Lab.
Right. Well, James, I know this was a short conversation on the microphones, but we've had plenty of conversations this weekend, and every single one of them has been a pleasure. I will make sure all the links are on there. And, of course, if you forget any of the links, those Wulfgar banners are right on our website because you guys are a great supporter of Project Nerd, and we always appreciate that. So this is another Diving Deep where we've dove deep into prop making. Prop making's not for you. It's still something maybe you learned something from, or maybe at least you know where to buy something if it's not for you now, right? So you can get it. As always, we're open to topic ideas, too. Doesn't have to be light. Doesn't have to be heavy. It can be anything, really. And if we can find somebody who's an expert on the subject matter, or if we're passionate about it as well, we'll definitely dive deep into that too. Comments always welcome, and make sure you head on over to projectnerd.com if you're finding us elsewhere, so you can easily see these links and maybe some photos to go along with it. That's it for this week's episode of Diving Deep. Until next time,